Welcome back to the Reality Guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co-host, Brian.
Come on, everybody.
We are here to cover episode 7 of season 18 of The Bachelorette. If it's your first time here watching the Reality Guys, please like and subscribe. We cover everything on the Bachelor and Bachelorette franchise. We also cover Survivor, The Challenge, Love Never Lies. Brian, what else do we have going on?
We actually have the second episode of First Impression Bros coming out later this week. That's where we discover Love Never Lies. So it's a good content, just not a good content, but we find new gems there, which we really like.
No, definitely agreed. It's a kind of a clip show. We watch the shows live. We haven't gotten to the point where we're doing them live, but that will be a progression coming in the relative near future where we do start having some live reactions, live content, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube. We'll keep you guys informed of that. But like I said, the main event here this week, it is The Bachelorette season 18, episode 7. We have 2 weeks left, Bri, after this week. So we have the Men Tell All next week, and then a finale event with the final 3 gentlemen. It's probably going to be one of those 3-hour marathons. So everyone plan your bathroom breaks accordingly.
Men Tell All, I'm looking forward to that episode a lot, more than the finale, to be honest with you.
I'm really looking for the Men Tell All. We will definitely dive into that. Also, a little programming note for people. It is airing on Monday this week and not Tuesday. And we will get to the Bachelor news, and that also will be on Mondays, which for the channel is very helpful. But anyway, like I said, let's get into the week and we'll cover the news there at the end. It's Hometowns week. I was really excited. If you remember at the end of last week, Brian, I was like, they're going to at least go to 3 different towns because they're going to be in Minneapolis because of Joe. And man, I crashed and burned really, really, really quick.
Yeah, that was a downer.
That was a downer. They aren't going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. They're staying at the Marquette Hotel. The families are coming to Minnesota. Brian, how did you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess there was a hometown, Joe. Joe had a hometown, but everybody else, I mean, it's just disappointing because I think it would be a better look at some of these families more than like dragging these people to basically interrogate Michelle and whoever they're talking with, like, oh, do you guys love each other? I just think it'd be a little more pure. It just seems very staged when the family comes to visit, at least the seasons that I've seen.
No, I agree. And at least a little bit of teasing from the Bachelor trailer we got. I think next season we will get actual hometowns. It looks like they're all over in the place in that trailer. I got very misled by the trailer for this week. They did a great job of not making it look like they were just in Minnesota. So kudos again. We always give props to the editors of the Bachelor franchise. They did another good job on this because we were totally fooled. So our boy Brandon is up first. He's gonna have his mom. Oh boy, I'm gonna start off real rough on this one. His mom, his dad, and his brother Noah, who delayed going to the Navy. Bullshit, dude. You can't delay going to the Navy to go on the Bachelorette.
I don't know. I don't know how to. Like,
no. I'm sorry. I'll be the villain. I'm not even usually like I, but like they said it like 5 times. Like, no way that was like an actual request. If some article comes out the next week or two, that everyone at me comment on the video. Like, I just there's something off with me there. Anyway, Brandon's up first. You know what else is sad? Kevin was supposed to be on this episode. My next cue was ask Kevin about the Etnies.
I needed to like like the skateboarding part is so dumb.
Well, guys, it wouldn't be a classic Bachelorette episode without a really stupid, shitty date. And there was 2 of them this week out of the 3, in my opinion. Guaranteed shitty dates. Going to a skate park. going to a skate park to represent Portland. From what I understand about Portland is like it's kind of like a coffee, rainy,
Yeah.
vibey town. You smoke weed. It's like it's a cool town. He brought her to a skate park
Yeah, to push planks, and that's not cool.
and he couldn't like land an ollie.
Yeah, bad look.
When we get Kevin on the next episode, I want to expound on this, but like it reminded us, and like anyone who grew up who's like a 90s kid, but then like really was a teenager in the early 2000s knows that like skateboarding, Tony Hawk, PlayStation, everything hit like a really big fad. X Games, that was huge when we were in like middle school. And I wasn't, I'm not just saying that now, but I wasn't one of the kids that like forayed into like the skateboarding. Were you, Bri?
I remember I got a skateboard for Christmas. I tried it. I was like, this doesn't work.
No, that doesn't, it's not real.
Like I did buy that little thin plank of wood to like a ramp, and it just you never knew that like you had to get a dull like edge. You always like it was just like you'd hit it. You never had like the actual ramp piece that went on the bottom.
I had that on Instagram. I had that ramp on Instagram.
Yeah.
So the point I bring that up is that like those were the kids that like got real into the fad, and they couldn't like they'd be like, yeah, they just say they did it and they couldn't land like a kickflip or couldn't do anything, and they put themselves off and bought all the clothes and went to PacSun and hung out. We will talk about PacSun in the future. Early 2000s PacSun was a gem. That's something we will definitely discuss. But Brandon, at the skate park, no good. He's not very good. So they go to the whole format is they have a daytime date and then they go meet the family at night. So the first round of going to meeting Brandon's family, they seem like very nice people. They seem like they're very close to Brandon. There was definitely no one that like with Michelle herself, when they talked about the other person, had anything negative to say. Noah pulls Michelle aside, who is the brother that is postponing the Navy. And one thing I said I really do like about Noah is he said the phrase other guys that you're talking to.
Yeah, I would say all the families are very aware of the other dudes in the picture, which I was made it a lot more realistic because you need to ask these questions. This is their sibling or it's like kids like this is a big deal if like you're planning on marrying someone and then it goes terrible in the public eye.
No, I agree, and that's why I like him using the phrase talking to, because at least it's like treating it as seriously as it can be treated. Like you gotta listen, you guys haven't been like dating for years, like so like
exactly. Yeah,
I can't say that like the journey came out really quick in this episode, literally within the first 3 lines of Caitlin Bristol coming out like 5 minutes into the episode. The word journey dropped. I had the journey count for the episode that I will let you know later on how many times the word journey. It wasn't egregious, but it's still too many times.
Yeah.
Overall, do you have anything else about Brandon before we move on to guy 2?
Honestly, not really. Like I kind of felt like his nothing like out of the ordinary with his family, like other times in the past with and even on this episode. I think he had a pretty basic family that nothing really to say there.
Okay, cool. Rodney.
Love him.
George Mason. Cinderella Story.
Yes, this is the exact point, the final 4.
Oh boy, man. Everyone in our group chat, the 3 of us, Brian and Kevin, can attest to this. I was watching it. I got home late last night around like 10ish, so I started to watch. And as soon as Rodney got onto his date, I started losing my mind. Everyone who knows us knows I've been upset for Rodney that he has had this whole goddamn Apple trope that Michelle and the producers have pushed upon him. And when he finally has some kind of influence on his own date, what does Rodney do? He leans into the apples.
It's like Stockholm syndrome, man.
Oh my God, you're so goddamn right, dude. He leans into the apples. The apparently Minnesota has an exclusive apple, the first kiss apple. I said more like the kiss of death apple. I wrote this up, people. These are my live notes, not like knowing anything that's going to happen. I said the underdog label is brought up by her. She calls him an underdog. I said George Mason Rodney. Um, this poor fucking guy. I also then wrote later on. Actually, I have another pun coming later. I have apple puns coming.
Good.
Not apple bottom jeans.
Oh,
Rodney's parents, again, seem to be very nice people. But they seem to be sussing very quickly.
yeah. I mean, as they should.
I'm not saying anything that's wrong, but they were sussing very quickly. You could just tell they seem uneasy.
Mhm.
This is oh god. Before I get into more of the Rodney thing, this is so Rodney's mom or whatever sits down with, or was this Rodney or Rodney's mom? But this quote is brought out there, and as a married man, and as anyone looking out there to have a long-term partner, advice and a comparison, a metaphor that's put out there is not a way how you should judge a life partner or someone that's a valid life partner. The quote was, you need to be with someone who, like when a flight gets canceled and you're there for 5 to 7 hours, 10 hours at a canceled airport, and like you could just chill with them and everything's all good. Like that's when you know you have the right kind of person. That's how Michelle's like, bro. That's
As someone who's lived that, not with my wife, that is the biggest lie. You can't enjoy yourself after a canceled flight.
You're such a liar. How are you going to judge someone? No one is patient after that. I'm terrible. Everyone's terrible. Just like a canceled flight. Like that's like, it sounds like you're like, that's like a hipster version of like a Bronx Tale where it's like, does she open the door for you?
Yeah, right.
You know, are you willing? Can you meet a girl who's willing to take a 17-hour delay and then a $600 credit from American that can be redeemed from March till May of 2024? That's a real keeper. The fuck out of here with that like advice. If you don't like the girl or you're not feeling the situation, just say it. Just say it. Or if you want to be like, foreshadow, be like Joe's dad. Just don't say anything.
Yeah, elite. That was elite.
Don't even say anything. Just don't. Yeah, so I mean, honestly, Rodney, again, the move on with Rodney's mom. She said that she's concerned he'll be heartbroken. It's common sense.
Very fair.
Common sense.
Foreshadow.
She's being protective. I don't think she believes Michelle.
I mean, how can you, like, after watching this show, knowing about the show, the hit rate they have? I don't hit rate.
Hit rate.
Like, how can you feel good about it? Like, it's a joke.
If you think about it, this is pre also Taisha and Katie Thurston's breakup. So if she knew that too, she'd be like, run, my son, run.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else for Rodney?
I just feel bad for him, man. Like, he's a good dude. He's a good dude. And I mean,
good people shouldn't go on this show.
It's a tough situation. Like, I think he's actually a really good guy. And like, we can talk about it more when we watch the trailer for the next Bachelor, but that's all I'm going to say.
Oh, boy. Okay. Third up, Minneapolis Joe.
The only hometown date.
Home field advantage.
That's right.
So I like overall, like, I'm not going to say it wasn't corny, but Joe's date's probably like the least offensive. Brings her to the high school. That's cool, but she brought him to her high school. They've also probably been to those high schools before playing basketball.
He's played there before, for sure.
The prom thing's fine. You know why I like the prom, Brian?
Why do you like the prom?
Wait, I think you'll like this. There was no private concert at the prom.
That's true. Well, that's the only saving grace. But I'm sick of these prom. Like, you're fucking 30.
Like, how are you about the prom? Were you a big prom guy?
I mean, I went.
I mean, you went, but I'm saying, were you into the prom? Like, how much did you really care about the prom?
No, I didn't care about the prom. All I cared about was where I was getting drunk after the prom.
It's fair. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
and
fair.
these guys are like, "Oh, I've never been to the prom," and it's like, dude, you're 30, you've been to a club, you've had better time than you've had a prom.
My arrow point. So, if for people, here's a little behind the scenes. I always have the bullet points, and then I have arrows coming off. I wrote prom's a pretty good idea, but prom also does suck. So
It's not
I'm
that
right on
cool.
pair
After
there.
you can drink legally.
I put double stars on the next point, Bry. I'm gonna let you lead this. I'm just gonna say it. Joe's dad.
I love them. I have a worry that I'm gonna be like that at some point in my life, where it's just like Joe's dad realizes how dumb the idea of this whole show is, and his dad's like, Joe's like, you have anything to say? Nah, elite, elite. He was only on the show for what, 3 minutes. He's like one of the best characters of the season. I love it.
And that's all we have to say about that.
Yeah, there. I just want to go to Twitter about a few things because I was watching it live, and I would always refresh. And Joe's dad, somebody kept saying like he was like on The Office, like he looked at the camera and it's just. And I watched back and I was like, dude, he did. And it's so funny. It's just like, oh, so good, so good.
MVP is up there at our end of year rewards for this season, definitely for character of the year.
Yeah, awesome.
Oh boy, I'm so happy for that. Um, Last but not least, Nate the Great. Nate the Great is from Austin, Texas, or at least currently residing in Austin, Texas. His first thing, he said he likes walks in the park. That's not a terrible date idea. They hang out, they're just kind of sipping on drinks. She asks him about his family, and we kind of saw this in the trailer. He's like, I don't really know how it's gonna go. It'll be good, I guess. Apparently, he's never talked to his parents about like his feelings or dating.
Mhm.
So, how did you feel about that? Like before we got into the day, how did you think this was gonna go?
I'll tell you what, like we're going back to editing. I was surprised that this date was Nate's, where he was the one who was like that he had never been in a relationship. I really thought it was gonna be Brandon because I think
Yep.
he's a scum. But I'm a little surprised. Like he seems like he's a good looking dude. I would have thought he would have had many opportunities to be in a relationship at this point in his life.
All right. So the first thing I really had down with Nate was the dad does not seem very enthused to be there.
No, I mean it was his stepdad too. His dad was his real dad there. He wouldn't even be there. I don't think he was. That was the one he was talking about in the last episode about like not expressing emotions to his family.
No, definitely.
His stepdad was very interesting.
He actually had like a full character arc through this date. The mom doesn't want Nate to be forced into an engagement. Again, I think that's a very fair point. It's like, will you pick my son even if he doesn't want to get engaged? Like, are you okay just
Yeah,
leaving with him being in a relationship with you? Which is a very, very fair point.
yeah, that's my biggest gripe with the show is like you're forcing people to almost a divorce.
You're forcing a lot of broken engagements.
Yeah,
You're just doing a lot of jewelry endorsements.
yeah. I mean, I just don't think it's not a realistic thing.
No, it's a very realistic concern.
Yeah.
The dad talks to Michelle, talks about how he thinks this definitely is the first time Nate's ever been in love. I mean, Nate said that.
Mhm.
Um, so he doesn't know if Nate would be ready for the engagement or if it's just that like Nate's so just caught up in being in love and being on the show. Again, a very fair
Yeah.
point.
Are they the ones that said like, how will you guys react when you're not in a like controlled environment? Is that them that said that? Somebody said it doesn't matter. It can apply to all these
I mean, it
situations.
applies to all of them. I mean, they've
Yeah.
all kind of expressed that in different levels of
Yeah, whoever said that, that was a
straightforwardness.
really good point. Like you're in a controlled environment where like all the stuff is provided for you. You're like once you go out in on a town and like just a normal weekend, like how are you guys gonna be around in the public? Like it was a really good point, I thought. And another reason why this show doesn't make sense to me sometimes.
And also, there's a reason why the dad is kind of a dick, though. But like, don't throw your son under the bus. Like, he's trying to, regardless if it is not a game show for money, it's a game show for the heart. and your son's doing very well. Don't tell the woman that he's not going to be ready. Like, don't hurt his chances. I'm sorry about whatever your feelings are, but don't go out of your way to like possibly hurt his chances. That's how I feel. Have your feelings, but don't express it to her. Express it to your child. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
But his dad and Nate had a kind of a big flip. They end up telling that they love each other and that they're proud of each other. Real crazy turn. Real crazy turn. I don't know where the hell that came from.
Well, I understand. I kind of, as someone who has step parents, like I understand where Nate was like. That's the first time I ever told. I don't remember his name, but like I love them. Like that's a big deal. Or like even calling your stepdad like dad, not with step. I think that I to me I related to that a little more. Like I understand. I was like, wow, that they really went through something there, because it's different calling somebody that's not your true dad, I would think.
No, and I actually, I mean, I feel like the validity of all that's crazy. I just more so like how the conversation turned
Yeah,
from
no,
where he went from looking like he wanted nothing to do with being there to them having such a profound conversation. Like, because it didn't seem like they had any kind of a great conversation with Michelle or anything like that. So again, I'm happy for them. I mean, again, I come from like more of a traditional family, maybe not the big like lovey feely. I know I don't have like, the step parent thing. I can't understand, but my thing more came from like, just as a viewer, it was a drastic turn to see where like you're thinking it's like going to go one way, and all of a sudden by the end of it, get it. This is the kudos to the trailer editing, because we saw Nate crying last week after hearing about that quote of like he's not going to be ready. Those were happy tears at the end that Nate was having after like embracing Michelle about how him and his stepdad embraced. So again, like,
right.
I guess the whole moral of the story here, Brian, is that we need to learn how to edit like the fucking Bachelor editors.
It's not even close to the levels of that and like what they do on Bravo. It's insane. But just to add something else, like I know you thought like I didn't really think that he was blowing. I was, if these parents, I understand they got to be super like I get that. So like I was like kind of okay with him like grilling. Like he looked like he was everything she was saying. He was like a computer like analyzing her entire body, like features and like body motions and things like that. So I was fine with him grilling him and her, to be honest with you.
I was fine with the grilling. I'm all about the grilling. I just don't like when you throw those words out like where you're like, my son's not going to be ready. Like,
yeah, he shouldn't have said that.
Don't put any seeds of doubt into her. That's all.
That's fair. That's very fair. That's very
Maybe
fair.
there's people out there gambling on The Bachelor. Okay, not me. Like
true.
Imagine that became like a real big thing where like it was impossible to have spoilers and you could actually gamble on reality TV. I'd have so much fun.
Can make it a thing.
Make it a thing.
Reality Guys sponsored by FanDuel.
Yeah, it's like an honor system, gambling honor system.
You have a DraftKings deal.
The biggest bet's like $4, so no one could go broke on it.
Use promo code TRG.
The real guys. Last thing before we get into the rose ceremony, we're gonna wrap up here quickly. Miss G.I. Joe made an appearance.
Yeah.
Serena P and another Matt James alum, Bree, made an appearance to have a quick interlude chat with Michelle. They have all become friends after. Obviously, our girl Serena P is a favorite of Bachelor in Paradise. It's definitely been Brian and I's favorite Bachelor related season we've covered. And Grocery Store Joe, aka G.I. Joe, was probably one of our favorite people of all time we've covered so far on the Reality Guys. So really glad to see her. And if you didn't notice, Brian, she was like covering her left hand like in a pillow like the entire time.
That was definitely on purpose.
Yep, she did not want anyone to see, because that was definitely after Paradise.
Yeah,
but like before, there's that gray area.
Somebody could leak it. You never know. You never know.
And I looked in. Actually, after I saw that, they're still going strong. Everything's good. Real happy.
Yeah, Joe.
as we go here, this is going to be the second to last time we do this season. It's time for the rose ceremony, Bri. Gonna be short and sweet here, everyone. There are only 3 roses to be received. There have been no date roses, anything like that in hometown week. So the following men have received roses, and we'll move on to the season finale. Brendan, Nate the Great, and Minneapolis Joe. All I can say about those results are, how do you like them apples?
It's tough. It's tough.
Oh, man. We loved Rodney.
I do. I know.
They just, you know what? They were a big 3-and-D team, and the shooting went cold.
Yeah.
He leaned way too much into the apples.
Yeah, and it sucks because like if you watch all the way to the end, they had that like the credit scene where they're like doing that fake show. You remember that?
Yeah.
On the apple. Like, I don't know. I don't know what she sees in Brandon, to be honest with you.
I mean, they've had a connection. We've seen that from pretty early on in the season, been pretty consistent. So, I mean, I'm not surprised.
Like, does he ever say anything funny?
It's just they have a connection, man. You've seen it, whether it's physical, emotional, whatever it is. You've seen that from pretty early on in the season. So, look, next week, everyone, we will have the men tell all. We discussed that earlier in the episode. We're very excited. And then the following week, you will have the season finale coverage, which will be probably a 2 to 3 hour, more than likely a 3-hour finale event. But before we go, we will discuss that was the trailer. We can now openly, which we did start discussing last episode. Clayton is the Bachelor. The trailer was kind of whack. I am excited for there to be a little bit less guy on guy crime. It will be nice to see the girls fight again. Also, his poster is about like puppy love. He looked like Cruella DeVille.
That dude is such a loser, man. I can't believe we had this dude for at least 10 episodes.
Everyone on the internet's upset about it. Trust me.
I know. And it just feels good that we're on the side of the majority, but somebody, it's going to be a real mayonnaise season for sure. It's just.
At least you're going to meet some travel.
Yeah. Hopefully the girls are cool.
So episode 31, Bri, will be our coverage of Survivor. Really getting into nitty gritty. We will have our 5th juror decided by the end of our coverage of that episode. What season are you on now on your watch?
I'm on 22.
Season 22. God bless you.
That's how much I watch. If you want.
Was season 20 worth the hype?
Yeah.
Okay.
20,
Cool.
21 was also good.
Okay, cool.
Real quick before we bounce, who do you think? Give me the order of what you think for the guys remaining. Who do you think's winning?
Brendan goes next week. Joe goes, and then Nate wins.
Okay, I agree. Actually, I agree with that. Brendan's
I picked Joe, but I don't think Joe's gonna win.
Okay, yeah, I definitely agree on Brandon. Honestly, Joe or Nate, any of them.
I mean, I'd be really happy if Joe won because then I'd have both. I would have won 100% of my predictions, but I'm not feeling that.
I think Nate's gonna be the dude.
He's dope. I like Nate. He's dope.
I like Nate. I like Joe. I mean, it's not like the other times where I'm like, I hated Blake last season. He's a tool.
God, because it was fake and it all proved that to be right. Again, thank you, everyone. Please stay tuned, like I said, for episode 31 for our Survivor coverage. Episode 32 should be the challenge coverage of Spies, Lies, and Allies and All Stars Season 2. And then the next episode should be episode 2 of First Impression Bros. So a ton of content coming your way. And also don't forget, we will power out those episodes of Love Never Lies. So you will have another 2 to 3 episodes, depending on how many we do per episode of that as well, coming in like the next week or so. So a lot of content. Please like and subscribe. For myself, Brian, Kevin, peace.